Into the topic, call us. You could call us at 337-366-8951. And before I start with addressing the community, Hotel Pabarigani or Assalamu Alaikum. I'm Sister Khadijah, and it is customary in the African tradition that we get permission from one of our elders to address the community. And I'm an elder, I'm 66, and I would like to have an elder that's over 66 to give me permission.
You have permission.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right, so we're gonna get right up in tune with part two, and we're talking about advocacy and change. Let's discuss what do you think about advocacy, and how do we try to change things?
The role, the prison system take in developing post-incarceration syndrome is something I want to talk about. Because we got to bring that back to our community, right? And in bringing that back to our community, again, our physicians and our psychiatrists, our doctors are not familiar with this particular symptom. Therefore, it's incumbent upon brothers to understand that peer support groups, is needed inside our community, so we can educate our family members, we can educate our pastors and clergymen on how, and what post-incarceration means. That way, we'll be able to understand how to deal with our neighbors, which is coming back into our society, our friends, our family members. So, if we can gather together in our community to understand, we don't have to wait for no one else to try to help us with our community, do the things we need to do within our community to make our community safer, better for our children and for our elders. We don't have to wait for nobody to do that. All we have to do is understand the means and the method in which and what we have to do, to do these things, to be able to understand that, with every question, there's answers for. So if you have a question, just come together collective and find that answer.
So change start with first identifying the problem. Once we identify what our problem is, and I think as a community, we need to have people that's very concerned about how do we communicate with these guys, how do we help them, how do you help them? You ask them, questions. That's how we get answers. We ask questions and we get answers. So we got to be placed in a room with these guys, and what we need to learn to do is to learn to listen to them and what they've been through, hear their stories. And from hearing their stories, you're going to realize certain things, because everybody experienced prison different. Everybody went through whatever they went through in a different way. So one thing don't fix all, but some things could fix the majority of people as they learn more about themselves. So, and I think the community needs to get, and the politicians, everybody needs to get involved in how do we communicate and find out ways to help guys who suffer from post-incarcerated syndrome. What we've been doing, we've been introducing ourselves to social workers, we've been introducing ourselves to psychiatrists, we've been speaking to psychiatrists, we've been going to different places and being on platforms and explaining ourselves, and they've been hearing us, and they've been listening, and they've been trying to figure it out, because they will all tell you they didn't know this. Wow, this is new. So this is what we need to do. We need to have that conversation and meet with people who are really concerned about this particular thing that brothers are suffering from.
And on that note, it's like looking at you calling me for assistance or you calling me for help. So you might have a flat tire. So I got to find out first what kind of car you have. Because see, I may have the intent to help you, but I rise out there with my car and my lug wrench don't fit your wheels.
Okay, that makes sense.
So I got to ask questions. What type of car do you have? So I can know if I can really assist you, or can I point you to some assistance? See what I'm saying? I might have other resources at hand that might can help you do things that I can't help you to do. I may be limited in one area, and I've got to acknowledge my limitations. And that's what we're dealing with the psychiatrist as. You know, when your limitation, you reach your limitation, then let's lean on mine. Because I've been there, if I'm in, you know, it's my experience, so I can show you the help I need.
Yes, sir.
And this is also with the household. We are trying to show brothers, you know, okay, you was in prison, you went through that experience, now you're a returning citizen. You're entering into a different environment. If you're going underwater, you need a scuba. You can't breathe underwater, so you need the gear to breathe with. You need the things that are going to help you survive under that water until you can come up and breathe again, naturally. See what I'm saying? So our assistance is knowing, trying to find out where you're at. So you must be open and honest for us to give you assistance.
That's right.
And so everything starts from the root of the truth. But if you're going to suppress the truth, then you can't get help. You know, because you can make choices or you can either cry or try. You know, if you're going to cry, you're going to do just that. But if you're going to try, then you may make errors, but you're going to learn from your errors. And this is where we at. We're not perfect. You know, we're not perfect servants. We public servants. You know what I'm saying? And we trying to assist the best we know how. And in doing so, we helping people. We see changes in people. We telling people you can do it, and they're doing it. Many people, we did it. You looking at evidence of people who came out of that hellhole
Yeah.
and survived. Survived it for many, many years and came out, and now we are helping people to survive. We're navigating.
Praise.
And one of the things I want to really emphasize to family members, as well as what I emphasize for the guys who come home, and Thad said it earlier, we can't take for granted that we know our family members after being departed for all those years. We can't take for granted, right? So one of the most important things is that family members, to build this relationship, they need to have a sit down, like pick a time, set the scenario, you know, for the pick a time that they sit down and they talk. I say, hey, I've been gone X amount of years. If you see me doing something strange, point it out to me, talk to me, let me know. It's not like I'm trying to do certain things to offend anybody, but I have characteristics that I bring into this household from prison. I just need you to kind of like help me see that. And when you help me see that, that way we can work together to help me come out of that. And the same with you. You haven't been around me for all these years. There's things about you I'm learning. Things that I should do, things I shouldn't do. I would never know it just walking around the house guessing. Because when people come home, they family members welcome them in. Come on in. Oh, they're so happy to see you. This, that, and other. Until you become a burden. This boy done ate all the cornflakes out the box. He ain't putting nothing back. He ain't doing this. You got all these little habits that they don't even recognize that you doing, and you don't recognize you doing it. So family members, don't go talk about it. Sit down and have a conversation with him. Say, hey, look, listen to me. I know you used to marking your stuff in the but you don't have to mark your food items and put them back into the fridge. No, we all share here, you know. And so people from prison is territorial. They're territorial. That's part of the psychological trauma they deal with. They're territorial. So when they buy something, it's mine. But when you buy something, it's mine too.
Let me expound, you know, something about that question now, because I mean, what Brother Rashid was speaking about. We had a brother that served more than 50 years in prison, and he moved in with his sister, and his sister husband, old man, boyfriend, whoever it may have been. And when he started getting money and started getting food stamps and stuff like that, when he went to the store, he put all this stuff in his room. You know, he put all this stuff in his room. Whereas before that, he was going to the kitchen and getting things, you know. But now equate this, him walking to the child hall every day. But now he got a money order, right? So now when he go to the store, he put that in his box.
Yeah.
You know, now I might give you my cornbread off my plate in the child hall, but now it's in my box, and we all live to understand, you know, how sacred that box is. We live out of 2 boxes in prison, right? But now we coming back to the community. We coming back to our community, and the residual thing that we brought from prison, it has to be addressed. This is what the peer support group is about. This is what the things that the challenges stuff that we're facing, it can't be overlooked. It can't be seen as a joke. It can't be seen as, wow, because everybody's watching us. It's coming on inside that community, especially the younger guys. They say, man, you know that brother that did 40 years in prison, huh? Yeah, subconsciously, they admiring this brother because he did 40 years. You know, again, subconscious, you know, if he can do it, I can do it. Wow. Right? So we got to be mindful. We must be mindful that we got to be careful what we do, how we walk, how we talk inside that community, because people are watching us. People recognizing that, you know, the badge of honor, got some of us wear it like a badge of honor as well, right? They talk these war stories. Why they do that, though? Because they don't have another conversation to talk about, right? I can only talk about my experience. You know, so if I've been locked up for the last 20, 30, 40 years, what do you expect me to talk about? You know, so we got groups within New Orleans and some more than in other surrounding areas, just like we meet in the peer support group. They meet up under trees. They meet up on the, you know, different areas where they go to this place daily, like it's a religiously. They meet here every day. And to the audience that listen to me, they're speaking about the things that they talk about. No matter what conversation I come up on, they're going to bring it back to prison after 5 minutes that we talking. They're going to bring it back to prison. So when we speaking about our community, we got to be mindful that we got to re-educate the miseducated, right? Because if we don't do this, then we are subconsciously saying that it's cool for the judges to sentence me to 50 years and 100 years and on all these other different kind of, you know, insurmountable sentences that they give us and expect us to do it, right? You know, so.
That is, go ahead, my brother. No.
Oh, things that we experience in the prison that comes back home and find our family trying to complex about what we are doing. So we have to sit down like Brother Shaheed would point out, Brother Rasheen would point out. It's open communication. You got to communicate. Without communication, you can't relate. How you gonna, you know, it's a language. When you go in a courthouse, you go with what? A lawyer. Yeah. Why? Because he know how to speak the language of the law. You know the prison life, they know the environment of their community. Now we got to exchange those experiences. We got to be open and honest with one another to talk. That communication is the key. And caring. You got to care. Because if you say, I don't care, and he's saying he don't care, then two people not caring not going to make a good environment. See what I'm saying? Yeah. You're talking about that very thing and let's understand what that system, why was you divided from Jump Street? Because the system was designed to divide. He got a sentence he can't really do. But somebody, by the will of Allah, will of God, or whatever name you may call him, you got out.
You got out, yeah.
So now it's time to be open enough and honest enough to one another to say, hey, we got to build. If we're going to build, we got to start with ourselves, then with our community. You got to become, you know, politically involved with our communities. We got to become active in our community. We got to become active with our schools. We got to become active with the medical care system. Everything that involves you as an individual, you got to be a part of it. Because if you're not doing your own thinking and someone else is doing the thinking for you, they might be not thinking your interests.
Yes.
So you got to have information. Once you obtain, and that's what we're trying to do, obtain the information to relate to the families, to the community, to the society, so we can learn and act upon.
Caller, you have a question or a comment? You're on live, caller.
Yes, good evening again, Sister Khadija. I want to call back and ask the brothers, and again, I'm really appreciating all the information and all the emotion displayed that's rightly placed in the community, especially on television right now. But I want to ask the brothers, segue slightly into something else. Given that you brothers, y'all been incarcerated, y'all been there, y'all know the issues, y'all know what's going on. How can we reach our young people? And Sister Khadija could tell you, I come from a community, it's a real small community, but there's a lot of gun violence. And I'm one who do not want to stick my head in the sand and say, oh, well, that's somewhere else. No, we have young people. The number of young people I know in my community have committed violence that resulted in the death of another young person. It's so troubling. You have to care. You have to not only care for the deceased person, you have to care for the person that perpetrated the crime.
That's right.
And the thing is, how can you brothers or someone like yourselves reach these young people? And what advice would you give me as a member of the community to take to these young people, the ones who I could reach, or if it's just one in my family, or it's one of a friend of a friend? How can we reach these young people to tell them don't make the mistake? Because I'm pretty sure there are a lot of young brothers who are winding up in these penitentiaries in South Louisiana, if not around the country. So what can we do, my brothers? Thank you all so much. I'm going to take your answer off air.
I can reflect back to the village, right? The village, in the African community, we always say it takes a village to raise a child. So therefore, if we go back to that teaching, there was gurus in that village. And those gurus taught and instructed the young brothers how to become men. That part of our society has been taken away. When they brought the idea that you can't chastise your kid, they took the right away from you in order for they can use the necessary force and, to first kill off our youngsters, as well as redirect them in the manner in which we know as a community that we're trying to guide them to, right? So therefore, we got to understand that we got to get back with that village. We cannot be scared about our kids, our youngsters. We can't be scared. A lot say, well, I don't want to deal with these youngsters today. No, we have to deal with them. Because if we don't deal with them, then they're going to deal with us. And they're going to be dealing with us in an uninformed way. Just like the brother Haki was speaking about, the information is only to inform. But if you don't have the information, then you're going to become uninformed. Therefore, in order for us to be able to reach our youth, we got to first reach out to them rather than running from them, hiding behind excuses not to deal with them. We got to go within those schools. We got to fix our playgrounds around our neighborhood where they don't become no battlegrounds for drug use and all these other things that they use in our playgrounds for nowadays. We got to get back more involved. We got to have more community involvement. Have more of this session where we can bring our community together, where we can have family nights inside the community, not just within our houses. We don't know each other in the community no more. When we came up, more of the time we came up, we had community involvement. We had places where we could go and we knew our neighbors. We respected our friends in our community. That's one of the solutions. I'm pretty sure that these brothers may have other things they may want to add to that.
Well, one of the things for sure that is imperative, and that is to tell the truth. These young people need to know the truth. Another thing we need to do and be mindful of is that it's something what Thad was saying is that in order to help a problem out, we have to have a collective form of people that's serious. You got to be serious. You got to have a plan, and what in this plan, if I give a person a job, if I give a person a place to stay, the next thing I need to do is I need to make sure that I have this person mentally lined up on what needs to be done into keeping these things. So I think that when I go see these young people, I tell them the truth, and they resonate with the truth, and they want to hear about things that they know that in the future they're gonna probably be there. Like a lot of them, they are actually on the road to going to prison. And so what I do and how I get their attention is I give them the scenario, what this is going to look like for you down the road. You may listen to me today and somebody else may not listen to me, but you'll be like I was. People told me things I didn't hear. I ended up in prison. I actually experienced it. So you don't have to do that. And I just explain these things to them that you don't have to be that person, but everybody's not going to make that trip.
Yes, and caller, thank you for your patience. You have a question or a comment for our distinguished panel?
Oh, I have a question. When a formerly incarcerated person come home and they're dealing with mental issues, trying to adapt, the person they come home to or family they come home to also have to make adjustments to their lifestyle and have to make adjustments to their lifestyle and their mental health and everything. What would you say to the person that they're coming home to?
Thank you, caller. A good question.
Well, the person you're coming home to, I think communication, back to communication, you and that person, it got to have a line of communication. Because a lot of things, our expectations about things may not be fit into the realization of what we're going into. You know, we can expect going into a loving environment and it may not be a loving environment. So we got to meet that situation at hand where it's at. And when you and that person, y'all would have to sit down, and I don't know exactly what the situation is, but in my situation, I was away from my son for 48 years. When I left, he was only 4 years old. So my point was that now is the time for us to relate. You know, we can be openly and honest with one another. He said, well, there was it's an age gap. I said, no, a gap was created by the mind. So if a mind created the gap, it takes a mind to solve, to reveal, to close the gap. So if we want to work together to close that gap, and we honest with one another and open with one another, then we can do it. So there's no such thing as we can't if we want to do it. Now the question is, do you want to do it? And he wanted to do it. And right now we have one of the best, everybody speaks about how beautiful our relationship is. But that's having the willpower and the will to want to do it. And put our different baggage on the side.
So, and to further elaborate on that, I have a friend that he had to make a strong decision, being with a family member that was actually involving in things that would have got him back in trouble. So he had to make a decision to leave. And so a lot of times you have to be the stronger vessel because life don't always afford us what we need. So you have to adjust for yourself when things like that happen. And that means seek out the people that can actually help your conditions. And we have so many options sometimes that we don't really tend to use those options. Some people don't want to leave. Some people want to stay where they at. But you got to have a level of sacrificing something to gain something. And so a lot of us come from prison. We don't like to make sacrifices. We want to fix it right here when it's not fixable. You have to have the reality to know when some things can be fixed and when some things need to be changed, period. And so that's the best advice I can give you because a lot of people go into situations that's not conducive for what they're trying to do. And so you have to make that decision.
If I can add to the brother question about what do one do coming home with with mental illness and problems of dealing with his mental illness, please understand that if you can recognize your mental illness, then you also understand that other people suffer with mental illness as well. So hurt people gonna hurt people. So we got to try to fix what's broken. In order to fix what's broken, we got to come together and glue this side up to be able to unite to this side, so everything can be, come together, right? Because if I go to the house expecting everything to be okay, then I'm gonna be disappointed, and upon that disappointment, I'm gonna recognize, that I didn't get no help from where I came from. Now I can't get no help from inside my home. So I'm gonna go to the streets where you're not gonna get no help from there either. Matter of fact, you're gonna get more assistance to aid your mental illness than you're gonna get help in doing so. So I would say this, dear brother, don't expect for things to be roses upon coming home, right? Understand that you recognize, because you say that for those that's coming out here with mental illness, with mental defects or shortcomings, we're going to put it that way. You recognize your shortcomings. You're not alone. We all have them, and not just those that's coming from incarceration. The house you're going into, the people that's living in that house, they have challenges and difficulties. They are broken in other ways that you may not be aware of. You may be help to them by recognizing that you need help, right? This is what we're speaking about today. Being able to come and recognize that it's going to take communication. We got to communicate with each other within that house. Take our time. Look, I know you don't understand what I'm doing, some of the things that I may be doing, I'm not doing, or you expect for me to do. But talk to them. Make them recognize that, okay, with your help, I can be further assisted, with doing the thing that you may be expecting of me. Because you getting angry because they don't understand, and they're getting angry at you because they don't have to understand you. You came back into their fold.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So as much as they love you, I heard the brother speaking about, okay, now they got used to you. You're eating up all the cornflakes. You know what I'm saying? You're eating, and we saying it for a joke, but it's the truth.
Yeah, I know it's
when
the truth.
people come home after, seeing me laying on a sofa all day, they didn't recognize I went out there trying to look for a job. But when they came home after working all day, right, they was thinking about their leftovers that was in that kitchen, in that refrigerator. But when they came home, hey, you done ate the leftovers.
Yeah, yes indeed. And you are absolutely correct, and I can concur too, because I had a significant other that done like 23 and a half years, and one of the things he would do, he would leave the shower door open, get up early in the morning, drive for hours and hours. Why are you driving all over Lafayette to Baton Rouge like that? That's gas, not perceiving that this is what he's actually doing. Or you leave the lights on. Why are you leaving the lights on all the time?
Because he never had control over anything. He's never had no control over the fact that he ain't had to turn no lights out.
He wasn't supposed to turn them
He
out
didn't
either.
have no light bill to pay.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So he's not conscious.
Like you are.
That's like you are. He's not conscious. And he really don't mean no harm. And sometimes by seeing you upset, I'm gonna drive to Baton Rouge to get away from all this here, cause he can't run the yard and get away from it.
That was his coping mechanism to
Yeah.
get away. He ain't worrying about the gas. He just need distance.
That's right, that's right. Well, this is another spectacular program. We're talking about the post-incarceration syndrome. So I thought he was bipolar. I know he had some kind of mental issues, and all
And he
the
did.
while,
He
this
did.
is what he had.
Yes, he got it. Yes, we got many issues. We got many issues sitting on this panel.
Yes.
We have many issues, but we recognize them.
We recognize it. We recognize it. Well, what's one misconception about formerly incarcerated people that you wish more people would unlearn?
I think when the guy go into the prison, go into the institution, and he don't do a length of time, he tends to come out and glamorize
Oh,
the environment,
okay.
and this caused the youth
To-
to think that prison life was all that. You see what I'm saying? So, because he never really felt the grind of the true prison life.
Okay.
He got a glimpse of television. We call that television prison.
Yes, indeed.
See, because it is going in and come back out with a little rep, whatever. He's just 6 months. But when you got the brother who did 50 years, 40 years, 30 years, ain't nothing glamorizing about that because he had to suffer many of the indignities. Now he done come home. He could show this little brother that, hey, what this guy showed you about with his little 6 months thing is not that in prison. You got that's jail time.
That's jail time. Okay.
That's not imprisonment.
Okay.
And he making that look, he televising that and making it look all good in jail, and they put it on the TV like you can come in and out jail like that. That's not the sentence you getting, especially in Louisiana.
Especially.
They lead the nation in incarceration. They lead the nation in the harshest sentences.
That's right.
So don't think there's nothing beautiful about. Don't beautify imprisonment. That's slavery by another name.
And I often speak about, the media. The media glorified this. The media glorified imprisonment because, if I show it enough, like they did when I was coming up, showing all the prison movies and all the other things, I'm gonna want to be like that. John Dillinger was robbing banks and all these things, so it's easy for me to glamorize that. So to bring it back into, closer proximity, Rashid done robbed banks, Tatum done robbed jewelry store. This brother done did what he did, right? We are their John Dillingers. We are, some people that they think they can idolize. So I wish they would unlearn that. I wish they would say, recognize what this brother's speaking about. Ain't nothing glamorous about that. Ain't nothing glamorous about that. Because if you understand all the trauma and that you have to endure in prison, if you actually understand, that it's not worth being a slave. They had to look at the movies to understand what slavery was. We experienced slavery as it was meant to be, like our ancestors. Matter of fact, in Angola, we worked the same field and plantation that our ancestors was on. That's right. So therefore, we understand what slavery is. And the brother says slavery by another name. I would like to know that new name because slavery is slavery. You know what I'm saying? It just turned into prison. But slavery is exactly what it's intended to be, to enslave another man, enslave another human being, right? So therefore, when we sitting here talking about, it's not to glamorize anything about what we done been through. Matter of fact, we trying to heal. We looking for healing because that's the only way we can become whole if we first get healed. But in order to be fixed, we got to first know we are broken. If we don't recognize that we are broken, then the difficulty of healing is going to be just that much harder.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Even when you look at that movie with Eddie Murphy, Life, they showed him as a young man, and he was like a old man, and still incarcerated. It's nothing glory about that. Are there any resources, book programs, or organization you recommend for learning more about PICS and reentry support?
If there is, they're hiding it.
They're hiding it.
They're hiding it. If there's any, because like I said, there's very, very little data, right? There's very little data in which someone can say, we can go on and research almost anything. If I go on this smartphone and research post-incarceration syndrome, it's going to pop up with very little information, because even AI, artificial intelligence, ain't got enough data that suffice and help with the problem of what we're suffering with. Because they can always go back to what? Post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yes.
They're going to diagnose everything with post-traumatic stress disorder. So when a doctor sitting before you who learned what post-traumatic stress disorder is, then he understands that he's limited. He's limited, right? So he can only give you what he got.
Mm-hmm. So as I surf the internet, there are a few subject matters dealing with post-incarcerated syndrome. We have a sister in the city that deals with post-incarcerated syndrome, but not like she's a female and she deals with men, women, and I don't know if she deals with the juveniles, but her name is Sister Miriam. And so she explores those things. I think the organization that we have has its own unique approach to it. And you have other organizations that do certain kind of healness and wellness, but we specifically directly talk about post-incarcerated syndromes to the people we deal with. That's what we deal with, the traumas. We specifically deal with that. So I don't know of, matter of fact, we got a sister coming to see us in September, right? This sister, Miss Sandra, she's from Austin. I met her on a conference, and she's done work on trauma and incarcerated brothers and sisters. She did time herself. She has a PhD in psychology, and she's, matter of fact, sending us some of her work when she come down, and she's gonna come and host us in September. So we still waiting to see those books to see how curriculum actually fall in line with what we're doing. So, and like Thad said, though, it's very limited information out there.
Well, that in itself is ideal. When she do come, we need to come to Lafayette and do a 2-hour segment so that we could have this also. I think that is superb. So before we wrap up, because I got to stick to a schedule, is there anything you think people really need to hear about this issue that we didn't cover? Is there anything?
Well, for the surrounding areas and the people that may be listening, I think that the message we were trying to convey today is the limited knowledge that we have, that we can only share, And I have amongst us, we have a saying that, when you're amongst people who's less knowledgeable than you, then it's your turn to teach. When you're amongst people with more knowledge than you, it's your time to learn. But when you're amongst people with equal knowledge as you, then it's your time to share. And that's what I hope we did today. I hope we was able to share with, the audience and the people that's listening about things that the limited knowledge we have on this subject matter. Because as long as we have breath in our body, and I can speak to my two comrades that's sitting beside me, we're going to keep on researching, we're going to keep on digging to try to come up with more informative information about the plight and the struggle of our, community and our society, And we were talking about people that's in very much need of mental health is very serious out in the society. The mental health problem is very serious in the society. So this is why I'm saying I know it just ain't all of us that's coming from prison that's dealing with a mental illness, right? They got people in our everyday society that's dealing with a mental illness. But again, it can only be exacerbated if it's not treated. And if you could treat it, if we're trying to treat some people with the same symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, it's the same things, or your mental illness is going to be different from my mental illness. So if we're trying to educate to that magnitude, that it's different. It's simply different. Until people understand, and when the people at LSU, medical schools, and all the surrounding university understand that, this is a matter that needs to be investigated, that needs to be looked into further, then it's going to be swept up under the rug. And my dear brother got a saying about things that always be swept up under the rug. That rug going to become a bridge. You're going to have swept so much under that rug, it's going to be the top. So we got to stop sweeping things up under the rug. We got to start, shaking that rug out, and sweeping that dust before it become a problem. Yes. Before it become more than just sweeping up under the rug. We got to be able to address things from its inception. And this is what people are running away from. They don't want to hear about mass incarceration. They don't want to hear about slavery. They don't want to hear about the proclamation of where it came from.
Yes.
They don't want to hear about that. Oh, that happened this many years ago. That happened that many years ago. Hey, everybody sitting on this panel, old enough, and they got a great-grandfather that's not too far from them that may have died a few years ago. That great-grandfather was coming through slavery. So that was a connection that we understand how close and it was, but then how distant we make it try to appear. It's closer than what we think, and it's only been renamed.
Brother Hakeem?
Yeah, we would like I would like the people who are listening to get involved.
Get involved.
That's the key. Psychology in action, let's call it. You say, we heard it. We see it out on the street. We see it in our families. We see it in our friends. Let's become active. Let's get involved so that groups like PEC will not only be a force to be recognized, since those in power do not want to recognize it. It won't only be a power to be recognized, but one to be reckoned with, because we're coming with the truth. Mm-hmm. That's right. And the truth needs to be told if there's going to be a healing process.
So I think that we need to pour water on this fire, because the problem, I would love to have more researchers join us to help us on this journey. We didn't talk deep enough about that, but we definitely need many social workers, people who really care about people who really want to see these guys get the help they need. So psychiatrists, social workers, people who got researching skills, we need that so we can build the data we need to actually come to that conclusion of what this syndrome is real. So I would ask anyone and everyone who want to participate in this journey to come join us.
Yes, and in closing, I want to thank everybody that participated with the program. We want to also say, I also decided to add up all the years our panel have done in front of the camera and behind the camera, and we came out with 107 years, over 107 years. And this is horrific. This is horrible. These are men that's our backbone. These are the men that believe in themselves to continue to keep their mind together so that they can, when they did get a chance to come out, they was coming out to their community. I want to thank everybody that participated. There is a telephone number, Brother Shahid,
Yeah,
that's on the screen for them
it's a
to.
card.
It's the card.
Yeah, just name, say it on the phone.
Oh, formerly incarcerated peer support. Us helping us. FIPAsupport.org, that's what it is?
That's FIPS,
Phil.
Phil.
FIP
Oh.
Peer Support Group.
Okay, co-executive director, and the telephone number is 504-982-9061. Edward Rashid Johnson. We want to thank Brother Tad and Brother Haki, Brother Shahid. I'm not sure. Oh, and Skipper, brother.
Skip, Mr. Skip Shannon.
Okay, Mr. Skip, we want to thank you so much, and we are out of here.
No.
We
I need him to tell us how to contact him.
okay.
Talk to you.
I can be contacted, with my phone, with the phone number,
Reach my call
Not your
out there.
personal number.
504, email, the phone number, 504
It's the same thing.
357
He just tell you,
8972.
but you the
I
exact-
appreciate
Yes,
it.
yes. Thad Tatum, I'm the executive director, and I can be contacted at 504-547-5667. And feel free to call for any information that you may see, that you're seeking. You know, and if I can help, I'm endeared to do so.
Yes.
And I'm Edward Rashid Johnson, and so we have a website that will be fully operating next week. We're fairly getting everything organized to that point, and so you will be able to go on our website to actually see a lot of the things that we have done in the past and what we're doing in the future. And so we have left that information with the staff here to get to it. So and just feel free to get in contact with us, man, because we constantly growing, we constantly doing things, we constantly going into the community, and once we start getting funded properly, we're also going to be advocating a lot more in the community. But we've been doing all this stuff, and Thad and them and the brother Aki, they've been doing this for 9 years, blood and sweat and support from people, you know. So, and it's been working, you know. So we just funding to help us take it to that next level.
Yes, indeed. Again, we want to thank AOC for giving us the opportunity to bring real news to the community. We want to thank AOC for giving us the opportunity to bring real news to the community. And my calculation was wrong. It's 117 years. 117 years among our good brothers right here that have served time.
Thank you, viewers.
Thank you, viewers,
And your call.
and your callers.
See?
Bye.